From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. More police forces are laying out their plans for Monday's one-year anniversary of the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Montreal police say they'll increase their presence across the city. Vancouver Police Chief Constable Adam Palmer says his officers will be deployed at strategic locations like faith-based schools and places of worship.
We'll also be working behind the scenes with officers that you will not see to assess and reassess potential risks, to respond immediately to emerging threats, and to share intelligence with our local, national, and international public safety partners.
Multiple Toronto area police forces announced similar plans earlier this week. Montreal police say they expect to find victims in a century-old building that caught fire early this morning in Montreal's historic district. The fire injured 2 people, one of whom was taken to hospital. But Montreal Police Inspector David Shane says he can't yet confirm details about any deaths.
Some fatalities are unfortunately expected. However, we are unable at this time to confirm the number of fatalities or their identities.
The blaze is considered suspicious, and police have taken over the investigation. Meanwhile, police have laid murder charges against a 30-year-old Toronto woman in 3 deaths in 3 different Ontario cities this week. All 3 deaths happened on different days in Toronto, Hamilton, and Niagara Falls. Police believe 2 men who died in Niagara Falls and Hamilton were randomly targeted, while they think a woman found dead in Toronto was known to the suspect. The federal government says it's making progress on a pilot program for an alert system to inform the public when an Indigenous woman or girl is missing. Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Gary Anandasangari says a Manitoba Indigenous group was chosen to lead the pilot project within that province.
A very highly respected organization and individuals who have been leading this organization.
Statistics Canada concluded in a report last year the homicide rate for Indigenous women and girls was 6 times higher than the rate for their non-Indigenous counterparts. A consumer advocacy group's lawyer praises the Supreme Court of Canada's ruling today on compensation for air passengers. The country's highest court unanimously dismissed an appeal by a group of airlines challenging Canada's passenger rights charter. A woman who says she worked as a hair and makeup stylist for Garth Brooks alleges in a lawsuit he raped her in a Los Angeles hotel in 2019.
Clearly, he knew this was coming, filing a preemptive lawsuit in August under the name John Doe, calling the allegations wholly untrue, saying the woman threatened to sue him in July unless he gave her millions of dollars. Brooks asked a judge to block her lawsuit and says he is not the man they've painted him to be. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, 2 CFL games tonight at Hamilton. The West Division leading Winnipeg Blue Bombers look for an 8th straight win as they take on the Ticats. Later, the BC Lions host the Calgary Stampeders. The reigning champion Boston Celtics kicked off NBA preseason play today with a 107-103 win over the Denver Nuggets in Abu Dhabi. The Toronto Raptors will play their first preseason game Sunday against Washington at Montreal's Bell Center. Toronto FC faces a must-win game against league-leading Inter Miami tomorrow. Toronto coach John Herdman says his players have to take the shackles off in their regular season finale as they look to hang on to a playoff berth.
There's a big team coming into town, an exciting team, and for many of these players, playing in the match against Miami is a big opportunity, so we got to take it.
A win doesn't guarantee Toronto a playoff spot since chasing teams have the same amount of points plus a game in hand. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.